of the Hall of Game podcast. I definitely thank you, brothers, for being here in tonight's show. Let me give a big apology, man, to Brother Gabe. Brother Gabe was ready to do the show about an hour ago, but I didn't know that eating these African beans was going to have me in this. I had an idea that I was going to be in a somewhat situation, but I ended up being in a worse situation than I initially thought. So by the time I was, trying to run to the restroom and all that, he got tired of waiting on me and stuff, and he had to leave. So shout out to Brother Gabe. I do want to apologize to him if he's listening. So, brother, next time I will not eat the beans before the show. I will do it after from now on. All right. But today we got a very good cast. Brother Sani, Coach Ali, Brother Dre, Brother Maurice. And we're going to be talking about a very special topic. A brother was talking about how we can talk about black male human capital, right? But I wanted to take that core and talk about how to develop, maintain, and appreciate black male talent in business, right? And so we have a great cast today. I want everybody to introduce themselves. We'll start with brother Ali, and then we work our way to Brother Dre at the end. So let's go to Brother Ali. Go ahead, Coach.
Hassani Ali from the D, your men's motivational blogger, speaker, coach, and advocate. And this is going to be a good one, O'Shea. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. And I think Brother Wrench will be joining us too. Let's go ahead to Brother Maurice.
Hey, my name is Maurice November. I am a senior digital product designer by day, entrepreneurial and creative director by night, and I'm happy to be here.
All right. And definitely brand manager. Like I said, he's been doing a lot of good stuff here in the Black YouTube community, man. Started with me, so I'm glad the brother is here today. And last but definitely not least, the legend himself, Andre Hatchett. Brother, go ahead and drop some knowledge on him today, brother.
What's going on, everybody? Hotep. Brother Dre here, longtime entrepreneur, mobile notary, 3-time author, real estate investor, and black brother, here to learn, here to teach, and kick it with the guys. Happy to be here.
Oh. All right. And guys, thank you for being here. Maybe the notifications are not working as they should, but I think this is a very good topic. Obviously, before YouTube, and let me say, gentlemen like yourself, by the time I even was in my mid 30s, I'm phasing on out of here. It seemed like I'm getting older and older and shit. But when I was 20, in my mid 20s or early 20s, I was living in DC. I went to Howard University at that time. But after that and coming back, and even after graduating, it was my black male circle of people that I knew that were doing certain things. I found it was very, very small. And the guys that I knew that were doing something, they all worked in the corporate environment. Some guys had businesses on a small scale, but I didn't even really think about it too much until I got a little older. And then I thought about, wow, as far as a black community, we have a lot of talented African-American men. But for whatever reasons, those guys, they're talented, that's number one. B, their talent resonates outside of the black community, both men and women, right? So when we say that, but C, black men cannot benefit from the talents of other black men. And then when they go, there's some sort of maybe some resentment or not wanting to return back or something like that, right? So as a group of black men, we lose what is our biggest asset, which is the ability to network with one another and possibly do business, possibly make our lives easier, possibly make it more possible to take care of women if we have wives or children, stuff like that. We lose all of that, those mental assets. We lose 95 to 96% of that, right? And a lot of times we don't recognize the talent that our other brothers have, and none of us get a chance to benefit. It's only since I've been on YouTube the last 2 years that it's really struck a chord within my spirit to say, wow, there's so much more black male talent out there I had no idea about. I wasn't even thinking about it, right? Because, the normal black man, you just think about, I'm going to work, I'm getting off of work tonight, or this is what I got to do. You don't think about like, man, there's so many black men doing so many different industries that are so talented. But the thing about it is that we don't have an opportunity a lot of times to reach out to one another, or we lose the fellowship, especially the guys like us that are trying to talk about business, guys that want to do entrepreneurship, guys that want to do the skilled trades. And so let me ask you, I'll start with you, Brother Dre. How do you, number one, recognize that black men have this talent, even if they don't see it within themselves initially?
So that's a good question. If I know them like in real life, I try to start a conversation with them. I share with them a couple things that I'm doing. And even when I was in my early 20s, I just kind of always had this big brother mentor kind of personality thing about me. So even when I was in my early 20s and my younger cousins, and my younger cousin and his friends, I would always kind of school them on game. And they were in high school. I didn't know if they were listening or not. But my cousin now, so I'm 38 now, he's 32, 31, 32. But when you're 22 and 16, it's a bigger age difference than even though same amount of years. And he said, so I even bought him a subscription to Black Enterprise magazine. Okay. And I forgot I did it. I forgot. So I'm here 20, 21, 22 and just doing all these things and just planting seeds, I guess, per se. And you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know if you're just talking too much or if they're going to care, if they're not going to care. But so as I say, O'Shea, like it's our duty to do something, but not everything. I don't think everybody's our assignment. Everyone doesn't. We don't need to be spending our time with everybody in every black male in our community to try to help them. But we do have a few assignments. So I find people I like. If they reach out to me, I might take them under my wing now. It's kind of hard to do so for free because I got so many people. And if I meet them out, I just kind of share some links to some podcasts, share some stuff, what I've done. And I gauge their follow-up. So step one is throwing something out there. Step two is gauging their follow-up. A lot of people have terrible follow-through on things. So they ask their advice on X, Y, Z, but they don't act on X, Y, Z. But then they come to you with more questions. I was like, man, like you didn't do A, B, C. So how are we going to move forward with this thing? So a lot of it has to do with just a general connection, how much you like somebody, vibe with somebody, and are they committed to following up and following through on their personal growth? You can't want this stuff for people, fam. That's a huge mistake that I made for years. You cannot want this stuff for people. I had a friend who was, he's a great guy. I mean, phenomenal guy. But he was, he's consistently just getting by. And I'm like, give him a couple of ideas. I was like, I will fund this. I will pay for it. Let me know when you're ready. If it's my personal friend, I stopped being so pushy because I don't want to drown the friendship. But I said, hey, look, okay, I will fund this if you're ready. So I'll see what he does. If he doesn't follow through, then I'll just keep the money in my pocket. But, I throw some bait, see if people act on the bait that I throw, then I proceed accordingly from there.
Okay. So basically, you throw some things out there, see how they act, see if they're serious. So basically, they have talent, but you don't want to waste your time and your energy if they're not serious. I like that part about that, right? Because a lot of times we want stuff more for other black men than they want for themselves. And then, that, as we know, that always never works. So let me go to Brother Hassani and ask Brother Hassani the same question I asked. How do we recognize that African-American men have the talent or they have a certain, skill set to do certain things?
You know what, O'Shea, that's a great question, because a lot of times those young cats have all the talent, and a lot of times they just don't know that they can profit from that talent. Whether they know how to fix computers, if they know how to do something with tech, or fix a car. Sometimes they just don't know, like, they think it's just something you do in everyday life, and it's like, no, you can get paid for that.
Right.
Actually,
Right.
when my wife and I were doing the radio show, we hired a young guy to do our intro for us. And he was just kind of messing around with this little beat maker or whatever, and we were kind of like, this actually sounds pretty good. And we actually put money in his hand. It was like, we'll give you a shot. This is going to be on national radio, and it only needs to be a 15-second introduction, just a nice, relaxed, made beat for an early morning show. And he showed up. Sometimes we just got to offer these cats, an incentive to use their talents. How many people you see on Facebook, who go on their rants or Instagram, who don't have YouTube pages where they can get paid for that kind of content, but to them, they're just getting stuff off their chest, or they're doing it to entertain friends, and they just don't know how to monetize their talents. So how I would recognize it is if I know they have a skill, and if I could use them personally, I would put money in their hand. Like, hey, I see you can do this. Can you do this task for me? I'll pay you up front because I'm giving you that initial investment because I trust you, and see how they perform. And a lot of times, how companies get our black talent is that they're paying. They're paying. That's a big difference. Why? And I don't know how it is everywhere else. I'm just explaining what it's like here in Michigan. How Kroger workers are maybe getting like $12 an hour, but Costco workers are maybe getting anywhere from $18 to $20 an hour, and for the exact same position. And so when you pay somebody, they'll be more apt to use those talents because they actually have a reason to put it to good use.
Right. Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
No. Great point. Brother, let's go to Brother Maurice.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I ran into a lot of great talent. I tutor and I used to teach part-time in continuing education programs for different colleges around town. You run into a lot of great talent when it comes to our community. What usually happens is like no one has a business strategy to pour that into, or some type of mechanical process to earn some type of income with, is what I've seen. Also, I think Andre mentioned this earlier. They got the talent, or was it maybe Andre and Ali? They have the talent. They just don't have the discipline to take the talent into a marketplace.
Yep.
To earn income. And I think that's the piece that's always missing. So, and because there's not enough of us in the marketplace to take the time and have a temperament of taking people under our wing, making them apprentices, walking them through the process slowly, I think a lot of our people get discouraged because no one is going to give them the time or opportunity to cultivate that talent into something that could be marketable, from my experience. So I see a lot of frustration. I see a lot of people tearing out quickly, and then no one there to hold their hand in that process of development to get them into a place where they can earn some type of income. And also, to what Ali said, a lot of us who kind of find these people, I guess because we're not business minded as a community, we burn those people out and we kind of take advantage of that talent sometimes. And we don't honor it with payment or cultivation. So by the time you run into talented people, they've really been burnt by the community. So there's a lack of trust there too.
I'm gonna hop in. I'm following Maurice right there. So friggin' true. A lot of times when people see someone doing positive work, they throw everything at them. They throw all the needs, all the finances, all the time gonna be thrown at this person. They're like, I'm kind of maxed out with stuff. Oh, I thought you were down for the cause. I'm like, I am. I got freaking 50 people. I'm helping out here, and we try to throw everything on a few people, and it becomes very consuming, time wise and mentally wise. And the truth, a lot of times when you help people for free, man, they don't appreciate shit. And 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 it kind of stings you because a lot of people do not freaking take it seriously when there's no form of commerce involved. They don't respect the time, that they don't respect the effort. You know, of course not all the time, but you know, a good amount of time. That's why, honestly speaking, a lot of people who would do more free stuff if it was appreciated. If it was appreciated, they would do a lot more free stuff, but not appreciated. And listen, um, a lot of brothers are not haven't been taught the intangible follow up, show up, skill, mind frame kind of thing, right? So they weren't taught at a young age. Okay, you got to show up when you say you're going to show up. You have to follow through. You have to call when you're going to be late. So these intangible, manly, gentleman-like skills, a lot of our younger people are missing it because they weren't taught by a friggin' dude. They were taught by friggin' ladies what to do. And of course, that that doesn't mean you're always going to be missing things, but damn sure it doesn't help a lot of times, man.
Okay, let me do shout out to brother Tangeray trolling again. Shout out him for the 2 donations. But let me say this, right? I want to kind of go back to like recognizing that brothers have talent. And so I want to talk about a personal experience that I'm using right now in Uganda. 2018, I was able to go I was on a tour. I went to Johannesburg first. And then I stopped to meet up with Wodi Maya in Nairobi, Kenya, and then I was able to meet with Dr. Mumbi. So me and Wodi Maya and Dr. Mumbi, we were hanging out in Kenya for a few days, and then I met at the time one of Dr. Mumbi's interns, who now edits for me. But I saw that he had a passion for videography and video editing and stuff like that, which for me is my skill is the content creation, but the video editing and cameras and shit, I'm not interested and don't care, right? But I didn't know that, and this guy's in Satati. He's here right now. I know he had a passion for this particular field, and one of the questions I would want to know is, like, you have a specific drive for this field, but like, what is maybe stopping you? And it's obvious because, like, in East Africa, it's not like it is in America where we have access to Best Buy cards. You can go straight to Best Buy. Amazon is there, same day delivery. A lot of times products are double the price and the access to things that you need is low. So sometimes it's understanding if a person has talent, well, why are they not like maybe the number one person in the field already? It could be because it could be something that's a issue that's stopping them. Their location could be that, right? A lot of people we know, for example, move from one place to another to get better opportunities. All of us on this podcast have moved at one point or another to get to somewhere that has a better opportunity, or somewhere that we felt they gave us a better opportunity or chance. Because maybe where we were, we felt like, okay, we didn't have as much opportunity for what we're trying to do. So a lot of times you might want to understand what is it that the person may need some help with, and then you can partner with them to enhance that talent. A lot of people, like, for example, in Africa, one of the things that stops them is just access to the technology. Sometimes they can do the job, right? Or they can do, and that's what I've learned being in Uganda for 4 months. The people can do the job if the resources are there. So resources could always be something. And then you could always combine your strength with their strength and create something great. And that's what you guys have been seeing on my channel. It's not that, I'm putting out all this great work. No, it's a team effort, right? And the thing about it is just noticing the person that has a talent, and then the second stage of development. I want to go back to this. Dima, you guys know Dima. Dima has been editing for me for 3 years. Every month that Dima edited for me, and I'm not afraid to say this, it was a loss. So imagine every time you get paid $600 a month or whatever, it's like I'm not saying it's flushing it down the toilet, but it's going bye-bye, right? It doesn't come back. But the thing about it is that although I was losing money on that, I recognized that he had the talent and he gave me an advantage in this kind of field. He was developing every template that I see right now that's making my channel successful. So the Kingana template, the Dusty News template, the Thirst Box template, everything that, so when Tati and them came to Uganda, when we came, all those templates were ready to go, intros, outros, whatever. And we were able to build on that to go to the next strategy. So a lot of times you recognize somebody has talent and then you invest in the talent, and just so that the talent can be developed, not just for that person, but for your own systematic purposes. A lot of guys don't understand that in anything that you have, it's systematic processes that go, especially in business. Like we're in the content creation business on YouTube or Facebook. And so, we have a management system of content that has to go out every day. And the thing that you need to go before you make any money is, do we have the intros and outros? Do all the videos look the same? Are they more unique? Does it make us stand out from the other competition in the niche? All of those things, right? And sometimes while you're recognizing the talent and trying to hone it, I want to go back to what Hassani's talking about is paying. And that's another thing too, right? A lot of time when you're dealing with talented people, and a lot of times franchises do this. They'll take like what's the guy, Tua. Tua just got a pretty good deal for the Miami Dolphins at quarterback. And Tua might come out and have a terrible year the first year. He may have an okay year the second year. But the Miami Dolphins are going to stick with him as long as they have the same general manager, because you know what? We got to develop this guy that has talent. He's a super accurate quarterback. What we need to do is put the right tools around him to maximize what he was able to do at Alabama. We need to be able to get the offensive line. We need to be able to get the right offensive coordinator. So a lot of that talent has to do with other parts around it, right? A person can be talented, but if they don't have the right parts, and I can tell you even about studying, academia, a lot of times academic performance can be in, are you in the right situation? Are you in the right environment? Are you in the right university that teaches to your needs and all that stuff? So recognizing somebody has talent is one thing, but putting them in or seeing if they want to be in a situation where you can have the resources around them and develop them around that talent is also something else. So one thing I noticed that with my editors like Demas Tati, they had the talent and they had the drive for it, but sometimes it was about the resources. And as a person, as a business person, when you have people that have those really, really specific skill sets, it's putting people that have talent with the right resources to be the most talented. And sometimes that's all that it is. It might not be they lazy. No, it could just be I'm having a specific tough time and I might need just a leg up. I've already done a lot of the work, and then you just put them in. It could be just it could be a new keyboard, or it could be a new machine. It could be a 32 gigabytes of memory stick. You don't know. So you also want to know when a person has talent, well, what is it that they need to go to the next level? And it might not even be their motivation. It might just be a resource.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's what you were talking about, O'Shea, is something called cultivating talent.
Yes.
So it's kind of like you're cultivating a relationship or a marriage, and some of us have more patience than others with cultivating talent. We want people to already have what we want them to have because we're paying them, or we're dating them, or marrying them. So here's something that I did wrong. I have somebody, they're really good at email marketing. I have two people. This person, though, I think they were new to full-time entrepreneurship and time management, so they were missing deadlines. So I sent them an email. I was like, hey, am I expecting too much from you too soon? But like what's the deal? Because we're missing dates. And I asked her because I wasn't sure. I was like, is it me? Or is it something on yours? She was like, no, it's on my end. And she gave me she had said that she would love to have weekly meetings to kind of keep things on track. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm paid. Why am I having a fucking weekly meeting when you just do the shit? But if I was just better, I would have said, okay, because the bottom line is she's bringing in more income. If I
Mm-hmm.
have to hold her accountable to do so with a weekly meeting for 15 minutes every Monday, it would make sense to do so. But me, I'm like, yo, I'm paying you. No, I trust you. Just do the job. So we have to, as bosses, just know when we're wrong. And the best bosses and great people in sports or business or what have you, they have an outside consultant or a coach or an admin. What if I would have said, "Hey, look, admin, uh, I want you to meet with her every Monday." So I pay the admin to do it, and she keeps the email person on track and just take me out of the equation, and the job gets done. So our way that we want to get things done might not be the best way. Cultivating talent, cultivating somebody new, and putting time into someone new to make sure that they hit their full potential, it takes a whole other level of patience and a
Yeah.
whole other level of skill set to know when you are the person to even manage everything. It gets deep, man. It gets deep.
Oh yeah. Anybody else want to add on it?
Well, the add on the cultivating on my side, it'll probably be as the business owner recognizing the talent. To your point, O'Shea with Dima, um, honoring the talent with a with some type of monetary, with some type of payment in exchange. I think what happens in our community a lot that I don't see in other communities is when you out talent, somebody recognizes it and they honor it with a level of payment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that in our community often. You rarely do see it. So you'll have somebody with talent, somebody they'll get to what Andre said before, they'll get taken advantage of. And then by the time you run across them, they, like I said, jaded and very mistrustful of other black folks. And I'm learning this from the Manosphere. I'm learning this from shout out to Obsidian on the black men are cheap, and we don't put money. Yo, bro. I'm trying to get myself out of that habit, and I'm trying to be disciplined with honoring the talent that we have in this sphere. So if it's O'Shea, if it's Obsidian, if it's Kevin Samuels, instead of spending some money on something frivolous, I'll give it to y'all because you guys are building something. And I think that we need to. I'm trying to develop that discipline when I meet another brother in this sphere. I'm thinking about, yo, is he gonna work with my budget? Not, can I get something from him? And I think we as leaders need to cultivate that more with other leaders, because ideally, I think what'll happen is if we cultivate that mindset of always honoring somebody's talent with some type of compensation, I think we'll keep a lot of the talent, because the talent's here. They just end up leaving. They end up going other places because we don't honor them with some level of payment. It's not about the money. You thought enough about them and their skill set to pay them something.
Right.
That's good. That's good. So here's what I did recently. Piggybacking what Maurice said. Did everyone watch the Michael Jordan documentary? The 30, no, not 30 for 30. The Last
The Last Dance.
Yeah.
No, I missed it.
So in there's a part where Scottie Pippen, he signed the contract. It wasn't a air quotes good contract. I get why he did it. He has 2 disabled family members. That's expensive. That's time consuming. He locked in guaranteed money to give his parents and his siblings a break. I get it. So, but after he outplayed his contract, the owner and the GM said that we're not gonna give you more money. Don't sign this. This is a good contract, but he signed it anyway. Anyway, I recently increased somebody's pay, even though we were in an agreement and contract. You know why I did that? I did that because I didn't want them to resent me. So even if so us as black men in the sphere, um, I encourage us as well. So if someone does a really good job, even though they agreed on a certain number and they outperformed what you guys agreed on, they probably know that they did. and they probably don't want to bring it to you to renegotiate because that's what it is. But if it's in your budget, if they help you make substantially more money, give them a raise without them having to ask for it. So I told my person, I was like, you know what, you can charge more money to your clients, and I'll be the first one to pay more money. So figure out a fair number, and then let me know what that number is, and let's start to rock out. So when you have good people, pay them fairly, and if they outperform the contract, pay them more. It's hard to find new people who will do good work. So make them happy.
And if I could jump on that point really quickly, especially startup businesses, when you have that person who is your manager or your secretary or your clerk or whatever, brick and mortar you have those initial people who started out with you, a lot of times you'll see 5-10 years later, they're still getting paid the same amount. And they end up leaving because they've done the work for you to help you build the business, but they haven't been compensated. That's why big companies throw out production bonuses or end of the year bonuses, because they know the workers will stay committed to it because they have something coming to them at the end of the month or the end of the year, as long as their production is up. And a lot of times we could steal talent from corporate just by adding that, like brother Dre was saying, by adding those extra incentives of saying, hey, I know you're a top performer at such and such, but if you come work for me, I'll raise your salary, by this much and give you this much, leeway and, in return. And a lot of times we, like brother Maurice was saying, we just don't want to spend the money. But if you spend the money, you'll get that production, and eventually that money will be made back up plus more because you have that, that production in your wheelhouse. And when you have those type of people, even if they move on to something better, they could refer somebody to you. Hey, this is such and such. We went to class together or training together. When you keep that, when you operate in good faith, that energy flows around you. And so when you pay people well and you treat people well, not only will they stay loyal to you, but they'll find other people for you.
Right. Let me add to
that. That's one thing that brothers, don't take advantage of, is that if you operate in that system.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I think he fell off. Hello, Hassani? Can you hear him?
No, I don't hear him either.
I can't hear him.
Maybe okay. I'll wait for him to come back. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say this, right? Because all of us that are here, and like I said, I really didn't understand this. Like Andre, when I started watching Andre Hatchett's channel, and Erica, like when they started coming over to the channel, I don't know where Erica came from. I think it was Glenn and Cameron maybe. But when I started seeing them participate, well, let me let Brother Hassani finish what he was saying. Go ahead, Brother Hassani, you back here.
Man, Michigan Heat don't know how to act. Go up here messing up people's phones.
Yeah.
But real quick, I'll just wrap up and say the better you take care of people, the more they'll take care of you. Yes, it's a financial transaction, but when you develop those great relationships and you take care of your talent, not only will your talents stay committed to you, but even if they move on to something better, they'll refer people to fill their spot. Or they'll, or if something doesn't work out, they'll always come back and work for you or put in, extra time, part-time. You take care of your talent and best believe that you will reap the benefits of it. And I think that's for a lot of businesses that are, especially in the startup and our communities, is that, we work our talent to death and then wonder why we can't keep anybody.
Yeah, let me add to that, right? All of us that are on here, and again, I didn't really realize. I mean, when I watched when Andre and Erica Williams started coming on to my channel, and we started working with them and opened up some of these sort of business shows, I started to see real quick, like not only is YouTube a business, but YouTube is like a magnificent network, right? And one of the ways that we could steal from corporate America back to maybe to small ball, guys like guys who have our own entities, right? Small entities is that we don't necessarily. It's not always that I have employees or I got to pay people or whatever like that. And that's a good point, Brother Hassani said. But there's also another point is Hassani is his own entity, and he's not in a competition with my entity. So let me help him and his entity as he helps me. Same thing for Brother Andre. And a lot of us, when we see other brothers with talent, one of the things that we should be trying to do is cross pollinate. And I could tell you that actually brings more money. It brings more relationships. It brings more business. I think a lot of times as Black men, we don't really look at that. And when we talk about maintaining talent, it's not always maintaining talent that that you have it inside your production studio or inside, your firm or inside your consulting firm. Maintaining talent is just like, okay, Maurice is talent in another industry that I'm not in. Big Duke, he's a trainer. You have guys who do different things. Why? I need to try to help them with my crowd get some access to their products or services, and vice versa. Because that's another way that we can help we can help Black men create their own economies just by individualizing the small online economy by just sharing the resources in that way. And a lot of times when you see a brother has talent, for example, Brother Andre Hatchett, if you go, or Brother Black Heights, look at the interviews that Antoine Wade does. Look at the content that Andre Hatchett has, right? I mean, this is kind of content that you don't see every day. These are the people that have worked on a professional network that is very, very, very dense before they even, uploaded a YouTube video. And there's a lot of guys that are like that here. And a lot of ways that we can give Black men a reason to want to do business with us is the fact that we can give them something and they can give us something back. And then what we can give you is something that you might not be able to get at your 9-to-5 job, right? And now the game is so open that literally a platform like YouTube, or I know like Erica Williams, for example, right? She makes way more money than me. She doesn't even use AdSense. All her ads are turned off during the videos. She's selling her ass off, right? Not her ass particularly, but her products and services. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the time where, like Erica could come on my platform and sell $5,000 worth of courses. I won't ask her for nothing. Same thing with Brother Andre. He'll tell you he came on my sale course. I don't ask him for anything, right? Why? I don't want to ask him for a percentage of that because it's going to come back anyway. So a lot of times as Black men, these professional shows or networks that we have where brothers can come in and you can see other brothers have talent in different areas, you can work with them and then you can give them a reason to want to come deal with you on a small Black business tip or something like that. Because corporate America can't offer that to them, right? Corporate America can't offer them, maybe your 5,000 subscribers or your 10,000 subscribers that could turn into $1 million a year salary one day. So that can happen independently of what you're doing. And I think that's what we need to also understand is recognizing other people's talents, whether they be in, barbers, where they might be, in the shoe game, they might be merchants, they might be in bakery, they might be in law, might be in medicine. And then trying to come together with those brothers that have the talent and maintaining those relationships, maintaining them as friends, maintaining them as business partners, maintaining them as colleagues, because we then need to be able, because like, for example, Brother Maurice, I'm going to use him and I'm going to be quiet. Maurice pushed up on me one day, asked me could he do a logo for me. He emailed me. I didn't respond to the email or I didn't respond fast enough. Then he did it for me, right? After that, the rest is history. Hassani is working with Maurice. I work with Maurice. I don't know who else you'd have got. The neutrals. I mean, some people work with Maurice now, right? Based off that one interaction. So Maurice has a full-time job and he does this part-time, right? So what happens when the goal in a few years that Maurice might be able to say, you know what, the business is going so good now that I don't have to go work full-time, if I don't want to, I can just do this. So, and this is what we want to do, because we can offer Black men other things that corporate America can't give them, because we have our own individualized networks. And Maurice is offering services that corporate America can't give you because he has access to certain things. So if we start to really maintain brothers that have the skill set, now we have an ongoing system, a network, somewhat of a small economy that can turn little things turn into great big things. And we got to also look at not only developing talent in our own wheelhouses, but then maintaining relationships with talent that are already developed outside our wheelhouse, so that we can cross-pollinate and bring more money, we can bring more success, we can bring more everything to us that will help all of us elevate and do more.
Okay, can I go a little deeper on that relationship piece? Because I don't think we understand that as a community, and I don't think we understand that because we got a lot of trauma. Like I'm just coming to the realization by being in this space that specifically Black men, we don't like each other. I think we tolerate each other. I think we deal with each other. I think we kind of do what we do, but I don't think there's a brotherhood or some connection point where I'm thinking of you past the money. And the thing that I'm developing, I'm realizing in these spaces is I'm at a point in my career where I make really good money in the daytime, so I'm not here hustling and moving. So I'm using the opportunities of working with fellow brothers, one, to build a good relationship, because I have a lot of bad relationships with Black men professionally. So I'm in the process of trying to repair that with these relationships. Mm-hmm. Two, put myself in a place of humility to learn what Ali does, learn what Brother Dre does, learn what O'Shea Duke Jackson does. Because I'm also adding value, but I'm also trying to get some type of learning from you guys also. So I put you in a dual role. You guys are mentors, but you are colleagues at the same time, and that changes the dynamic of everything. Because I'm not trying to just get money now. I'm trying to humble myself and also build a relationship. And I'm starting to realize that other communities are successful because I think this is their norm. The money comes later. It's cultivating a good friendship, trust, consistency, and temperament. No one talks about temperament. There's a lot of brothers in the space that I really admire, but I can foresee they will be difficult to work with because of their temperament. And just trying to be more agreeable, more flexible, more teachable is very difficult for a lot of Black men I've seen, because we got a lot of egos and we got guards up, we got shields around us, and we don't want to be taken advantage of. And at times it's extremely difficult to be vulnerable in a space, because people are coming at you with ego daggers and swords. Okay, you want to go off on them at times, but I just try to humble myself that this is where we are and this is the building process.
That's deep. Yeah, humility is the bag, man. Humility and leading with the offer before the act. So the same way that you and O'Shea got tight, the same way that me and my video and graphic designer guy, or one of them got tight. His name was Donald the Voice. So definitely since last June or July. So let's just call it 11 months or so. We were in the same coaching group, and he was talking about a story about he left his job, left the full-time job, he wanted to, and I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. And he hit me up on Instagram, and he said, hey, look, give me one of your videos, I'm going to show you my work. I was like, all right. So he sent it back. I was like, oh, shoot, this guy's good. I was like, all right, you're hired. So he wanted to get paid, I think it was every 2 weeks up front. I was like, how about we do like once a week? He was like, bet. So he showed his work too. He was easy to work with. And I don't think I worked with him every week for the past 11 months or so, but damn sure every month. And I've helped him get at least 5 or 6 clients because I just promoted his stuff because he's so great. So yeah, man, never negate that. Never and I've done this with a bunch of people, and people have done it with me, man. Lead with some shit. A whole lot of times, especially these artists and creative types, they're so in love with their art, they just think their art's gonna just woo everybody. Your art might not woo everybody. You might have to make a personal connection with somebody and some people to really get some sales coming in. So that leading with your gift and showing people, look, this is what I got. If you like it, we can rock out. And here goes my pricing structure. I'll email to you. To you, if you like what I do, never negate that for getting in the door. Look, it's worked for all of us. All of us on this panel, it has worked for us.
No. I agree. Anybody else want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, going back to not understanding the language of business, because I think you're outlining how business really works in the world. When people used to tell me about those stories of people making deals on a golf course, I never understood what they were talking about until I came into this space. And what I realized that handshake on the golf course was based off a person measuring who you were as a person and your temperament. That's why you got the contract. And I'm starting to realize that deals are made and broken based off who you are as a person and how you treat people. There's some money I turned away because I didn't like the person that was giving it to me. Because I knew what type of relationship that was I knew that was too much for me to bear as a professional, and I wouldn't want to. I knew that personally I would do a substandard job because I had a dislike for the person, so I didn't want to even deal with it. And and that's just me. That was when I was younger, but being more mature, I wouldn't even entertain an email. I would be like, I'm busy. I'll be busy the next year. So I can, I wish you the best. I keep it moving.
Let me just shout out to brother Julie, my brother out of New Jersey. Kidney Conjo, salute brother. Say greetings, mods and chats. Listen as I get ready to drive. Let's go, O'Shea 100. Brother Aaron Ferris, I had a good talk with him today. He gave me some good pointers. Excellent points, brothers O'Shea. Points, brothers. Black men have to learn how to build with each other again. The last time we came together, we built Black Wall Streets all over the country. Absolutely. Who wanted to go? What happened? What happened to Kasani? Go ahead, brother. Here he come right there. Here he come. White man holding him back, brother Ali. White man holding you back, brother.
Man, who are you telling?
But let me jump in this. Go ahead, brother Ali. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask what did I miss? I had to restart my phone.
Oh no, nothing. Let me also do this right. And one of my roles in the Black Manosphere Brigade, if you will, right? What was the talent scout for who was the general manager of the Chicago Bulls that discovered
Jerry Krause?
Jerry Krause, right?
Yeah.
I am the Negro Jerry Krause. Like, and I heard the story about him. He would actually go into. He was a short, fat guy. I think he died because of like some kind of heart-related issue due to his weight. But he would actually like to go incognito and try to scout for talent. And some of the best guys that have some of the best organizations, like a Jerry Krause, they're good at scouting people. One of the things I think my best skill is I can scout talent from afar, right? I mean, I don't know why that's my best skill that I have. And I want to encourage Black men, always be looking for talented Black men. And I got to talk about this because this is important to me as General Mahar. A lot of us, we are threatened by other brothers' God-given gift. A lot of us are threatened by it. We might be threatened by it because the brother might, be taller than us, or he might look better than us, or he might be more gifted with speaking. He might just be, in certain ways. So a lot of Black men, when they come across some other brothers that have talent, they get afraid. Or he's funnier than you. But for me, I've never been like that. I've been always drawn to more people like that because the reason why that is this. Being around talented people is going to bring you some success. All right, that's just the truth. I'm not afraid of people who are opinionated, who are smart, who are driven, who are doing better than me. I'm not afraid of that. I want to go towards that. And a lot of black men, we're just, we got to be honest about that. We feel some kind of way when other niggas are doing better than we are, right? I mean, that we just do. We feel some kind of way about that, and we have some kind of hatred for guys and jealous towards guys. And we have to get out of that. Let's be honest. There's always going to be some brother that look better than you to some woman. Some brother that is, going to be more athletic than you. That's going to be whatever. That's just what it is, right? But that should not be your worry. Your worry should be wanting to get around the most talented black men and the brothers doing the best. And even if they're not doing the best, because a lot of the most talented people are not doing the best. You just want to be in that space, right? And I like to see, if I see a brother that is very talented, I'm trying to work with him. He's doing well. I want to challenge myself. I'm trying to work with him. Because like Brother Gabe, for example, Gabe's a talented guy, right? He's the engine that makes me put this podcast together. If I'm not doing this show enough for whatever reason, I'm going to get an email from Gabriel. If I don't get an email from anybody else, Gabe is going to email me. And sometimes brother Dr. Dix, Patrick Dix will email me. But Gabe, for a fact, no doubt about it, he's gonna pull me back into the circuit of producing the show. And I just want to say that we gotta start looking for brothers with talent, because I'm telling you right now, white people are always looking for talented black folks, and don't stop. Like, we are trying to hate on talented black people. White people are looking for them all the time. They over here in Africa right now, right? People think that people in Africa are trying to help or helping the poverty. No, man. When white people come to Africa, if they know that kids are smart, kids are bright, okay, then those kids eventually will get scholarships to go to University of Oxford or whatever. That's how it works, right? The United States keeps its advantage over the rest of the world by bringing in smart people from other parts of the world to work in America. Like, understand what I'm saying. This is how the United States keeps its edge, okay? I'm going to say it again. The United States gives preference to talented people from other places. Why do you think people, I'm going to name some names, people like Giannis Antetokounmpo, how you say his name? People like Serge Ibaka, other talented people, Rihanna, who was an American, people who come from other places and can make it in America, they get U.S. citizenship. America wants them to stay there permanently. People who are good at math, science, medicine, anything you're good at, America wants you. Britain wants you. That's for a reason. Because, see, if you don't scout talent, white people do it for you. And when they take one of us away from each other, they benefit and you don't. That's how that works. So if you don't cultivate your talent, eventually two things happen. If you don't cultivate the talent goes to waste. Nobody can use it. Nobody can benefit it. For example, I'm going to say it so I'm being along with it. Typically on my celebrity junk videos, what I try to do is I try to give a shout out to another YouTuber that's in the sphere. Now, if one of my guys who's editing, if the people here in their countries don't see their value in their talent, then I can't benefit off of it. Nobody can benefit off of it. The person getting the shout out can't benefit off of it. Or if I have advertised somebody's business, like Craig Harper's Tipsy's Tulips, nobody can benefit off that talent in the sphere. It goes to waste, right? Because they don't have the resources and it goes to waste. Or somebody else that is from, China or Caucasian America, they come and get them, pay them well, and then they develop them for their platforms. Those two things happen, right? So the same thing that white people do. They come and they get blacks that are talented and they take them away from the blacks to go work in the dominant society exclusively on that agenda. That's how we lose, right? America keeps its God-given advantage over people by recruiting smart folks. It don't even matter. America is like number 25 in math, producing the most mathematics people, like 26. You know what? Don't matter. America is going to always steal people from everywhere else.
Hey,
Flat out.
O'Shea,
Yes.
do you think what you said before that fear? I think you said fear. You said fear, right? For why we kind of avoid other talented or more talented people.
Yeah.
I what I've seen fear, I've seen insecurity and envy, and I think it all comes from not because I knowing you from seeing you on a Hall of Game from the first time, you had a really good sense of who you were as a person, just the way you carry yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that because you know who you are as a person, and you are clearly understand the direction that you're headed in your life, you've settled into your path. And I think what we've seen is where brothers don't have a direction, don't have a sense of self, the results of that is the fear and the insecurity and the jealousy and the envy. I see that more being the reason why we don't, when we can't celebrate somebody else's God-given talent, it says a lot about where you are in your journey in life, especially the envy part. Because I kind of see pieces of that in the manosphere, but it's kind of covered up through either actions or words. I don't know if you've seen the same thing within your inner circle and also within the people that you do work with in the manosphere. I see a lot of confident brothers too, who would allow other men to cultivate themselves. But I've seen other cats that shut folk down indirectly.
Well, let me say this, and I don't want to hog all the mic, but as far as the Manosphere 2.0, I've only had a problem with maybe one or two people. Like for the most part, me and Obsidian work together fairly well. I know how to stay out of his way in many aspects, and the other brothers there. I always try to pay homage to the guys that have helped me, but I'm not jealous of those people's and their talent either, right? I mean, I'm very comfortable. I know that there are things that they can do that I just cannot do, and I'm okay with that. And a lot of black men, we have to get over that, right? Because we have a lot of brothers. Shout out to brother Nicholas Penn. He's an engineer. He went to Penn State. Hey man, we're gonna have guys that went to better universities than we did. We're gonna have guys that didn't go to universities. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you are at a disadvantage or something like that. And we got to get over that, right? A lot of black men, we can't work together and benefit off of it. Because the thing about it is, right, every black man has a lot of stuff to contribute. I don't care if you've been to jail, if you're educated, if you're a truck driver, if you're a doctor, if you're a small business person, if you're a business coach like Brother Andre, if you're, designer brand manager like Maurice, or motivational coach and speaker like Hassani. We all bring something to the game that's different. All of us, right? We all bring something to the game. And the thing about it is that we all need to benefit off each other's talents, right? It shouldn't be just, unidirectional, but rather it should be bidirectional. But the issue that happens is, oh, well, Andre, he got all these suits and shit. He got this nice ass house and shit. He got all, fuck him. That's typically what happens. And people think that just happens amongst ghetto blacks, or that just happens amongst Pookies and Ray Rays. No, I'm going to be honest. It happens amongst those of us who are supposed to be in the top 25%. I'm talking about your higher earning black men, your educated guys, the guys that, I've even heard of guys getting into it on Bitcoin and tech shows throwing shade at each other. And these are guys who went to college, right? These are guys who were, that are doing very well. At the end of the day, we should be thinking about the big picture here is, and the money is at the end, right? How can I help the brother, and how can the brother help me? That's it. All right. That's how whites look at it. That's how Asians look at it. I tell the story all the time. When I was in Lviv, Ukraine, the Turkish people that came over, they had the third biggest telecom in the country. Turkish people, Turkish men, they always trying to help each other. I'll always see that about them, wherever they're at. Poland or Ukraine, and they elevate their people above everyone else. And that's all that black men have to do. When we got to get out of this mindset that, okay, well, that brother, he's doing this, but I feel some type of way. I understand you might feel like that, but it's not his fault. I'm gonna be honest. Some brothers got more talent than others. It's not his fault that he's more talented than you. I'm gonna just say it. Some of you niggas do not have we are not created equal. It's not his fault that he's better than you at what you want to be good at. All right? It's just not. It's not his fault he's more dedicated than you. It's not that his fault. That's not his problem. That's your problem. Okay? There are guys in my medical school class that, for whatever reason on certain exams, they got a higher score, and I was pissed off about it, right? But some people get certain things that you don't get. That's the beautiful thing about life. The thing about it is that you can always achieve, but you will do better by just saying, you know what? Let me join in with the brother and do that, right? And I want other brothers to really get that point, because if you don't recognize talented black men and work with them, the white man comes in and he works with them. And then you cannot use that brother, and then you want to know why that brother becomes a coon. I want to say this right. I'll be quiet. George Macon said something very important one day. He said, we create our own coons. And we do. We give black men a good reason to never want to fuck with none of us. A lot of us do. When a lot of talented black men, I'm not dealing with black women. I don't deal with black women on this show for the most part, unless we're talking about dating. But a lot of black men don't want to fuck with us because we have ostracized a lot of our brothers away because of our bullshit. So when the black man leaves, he don't want nothing to do with the black community. He's somewhere working whatever. He may have a black wife, he may not, but he don't want to deal with you niggas no more. He's done with y'all. And we are the reasons a lot of times why you feel that way. So we can't use his access to what he knows to help us, and we can help him more because he's tired of fucking with us. Because we on bullshit. And a lot of niggas do be on bullshit. Go ahead, Brother Maurice.
O'Shea, I did when I was contracting in California, I was out there for about 15 months working a contract for Wells Fargo. And I would go to a meetup group every weekend. I'm talking about the brightest of the bright, bro. Facebook, Apple, LinkedIn, Instagram. The girl that put it together was from Pandora. So I'm talking about just black people from every major tech sector in the area coming together just to talk about what they do. And what I saw was a constant. And then I think I was there for maybe half a year. And then what kept happening is people would come in for help. And then people was black folk would come in for help. And people was very reluctant to share anything with him. And then I went to a brother, he was a managing director at LinkedIn, like for one of their teams. And I'll talk to him. I was like, man, how do you feel about going back to the community and helping? And I think what he said stuck with me. He said, what for? I'm like, woo, it's kind of deep. And I started to realize everybody had the same sentiment. I'm talking about Bay Area, everybody in the room making six figures, everybody either senior or going into management roles. And the sentiment, the vibe of the whole group was, I'm good. I don't want to deal with them niggas no more. You know what I mean? So, and they would send people to me they would send people for me for tutoring because I would be the only one open to help those who would need help getting into the industry. But to your point, yeah, man, I feel that way sometimes. It's you get ostracized by your own, and then when they need you, that's when they come. And by that time, it's like, bro, you ain't helped me get here, so why am I going back to help any of y'all?
Right. Any brothers want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I'll hop in real quick.
I guess it'll be my. Go ahead.
This is something that I want people to be mindful of. How well do you listen? A lot of people, a lot of men, they aren't great listeners. So So when help is provided, there's like an immediate pushback. The first line of defense is like a pushback, or I'm gonna not tell the whole truth because I don't want to be embarrassed. Ego and advancement do not go well together. Ego and advancement do not go well together. So it might be told to you in a tone you don't like, in a manner you don't like. You might not have like the delivery. But I challenge people who don't like where they are in life. How well do you listen? How well do you take advice, even if it's from somebody who you don't want to hear it be delivered from? There's a direct correlation between success and people who are listening to somebody. People who are listening to somebody, because people who are so strong-minded, I'm not going to change. I'm an alpha male. I'm doing things my way. That gets you to a certain point. But how well do you listen? Or your website has edits. Well, that's my website, man. What are you looking at my website for? Fuck you. Or you say, all right, man, thanks. It might be a little embarrassing to hear that, but are you going to take it or are you going to give it pushback? Kill the ego if you want to advance and go through your memory. See if you rejected help from somebody who was trying to help you because you didn't like the way that they were delivering it or how they said it or whatever.
Go ahead, Brother Ali.
That's a difficult conversation to have, man.
So what I will say, and here's the psychology on this, is a lot of times we want to blame racism, white supremacy for the reason why we can't build anything in our communities. But check this out: you may have a company that might be completely racist. Don't give a shit about black folks. But guess what? At the same time, if they have a talent if a black person have a talent that they can provide to that company, they'll pay them. Think about that for a minute. They could be the most racist, people, internally, but at the same time, they're looking at like, I could use this Negro to get my company to this point, and they'll pay him. Now, if a guy could put aside his racial differences to pay somebody, why can't we do the same?
Yes.
And again, that, and a lot of times you get that where brothers have been shysted, throughout our communities growing up. Academics are never celebrated. They're not. More people are at the basketball games on Friday nights than at the the science fairs, the tech events, the robotics competitions. And so people the brothers and sisters who are successful remember that stuff. And so by the time they get to where they want to go and be where they want to be, and like all the brothers have been saying that why can't you come help this company, or how come you can't stay in the community with your talents? I'm getting paid by this racist white dude, getting paid way more. I'm coming. I'm not me, but I'm saying like theoretically, this person's making 80, 90 grand. Working for this white guy, and you want me to come back to the community and only working for 15 an hour. What sense does that make?
Yeah, no, you're right. Let me brother Hatchet had to leave. Shout out to Maurice November, brother Nick Phoenix has continued to strive for excellence regardless of what people think of you. Focus on building the life you want. Talking After Dark. That is Marcus Love, John Doe, be artist, can't stay by somebody right stand up. Yeah, let me just say this too, right? And all right, so this is a true story, right, brother Ali and brother Maurice. I'm in the club, right? And this was the last time I was in Kampala, which would have been, I think it was around August. No. I was here like in, I want to say April. Yeah, I want to see April. And April last year, I believe I was here, and I went to this club called Illusions. Now, whether you people want to believe it or not, there are some people like typically in Africa, there's like not what you really consider a U.S. type of middle class. Okay, the U.S. middle class is based off of you can get loans, car loans, and shit like that. Now in Africa, that they do have a middle class in Uganda, but it's not equivalent to what a U.S. middle class person. A U.S. middle class person is typically wealthy anywhere else. All right, but I say that to say this: we're there at Illusions, and I'm there with Mariel Lala. Some of y'all remember her from King Ghana. We just hanging out. She don't work for King Ghana no more, but she was there. So there was this guy that came and bought her a drink. I was like, oh, so who's this guy? And she was like, yeah, this guy is in one of Uganda's biggest industries is concrete. She said this guy is one of the biggest earning concrete guys in the country. And a guy made about $300,000 in a month, right? That's what that was what he made. So let me stop that. $300,000 a month is rich anywhere in the world. It is super rich in Uganda. You are the top 1%. Like if you make $80,000 in a year, you are top 1% here. But then while he's making that kind of money, like, and spending money at the bar and buying shots of Hennessy, the nigga haven't even paid his employees for the last 3 or 4 months.
What?
And it's not that the nigga can't pay him because the nigga got all kind of money, just like, I don't feel like paying him right now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But see, that happened. I've had that happen to me before. I was working with Spectrum Real Estate. Not afraid to call their name. I paid them niggas like $500 up front, right? For some properties. To do for the King Ghana real estate. Dude owed me like $200. He didn't want to give me the money back. Oh, I just had a baby, you know. So we had a little bit of argument. I told him something now that I can't repeat right now. That nigga sent me the money after I told him that within like 5 seconds, right? And that's not just in African terms. A lot of African Americans do that. Like when we deal with brothers and sisters that want to work with us, number one, we don't want to pay. We don't want to pay on time. And I mean, paying on time and paying something decent is half the battle. Really in the black community. Because a lot of stuff we talk about is black community shit. Because if you don't pay other people, you're going to get your ass sued. You're going to have problems. You're going to wish you paid them. You know, but we can try that nigga shit with us. Listen, develop good relationships by paying your bills, like the brother said, right? A lot of us can pay. We don't want to. Go ahead and pay. You know, I paid Dima and Jonita and people like that when I wasn't even profiting money. Like every month, we would come up with new concepts with Dima, and it would lose money every month. $500, I would still pay. Sometimes $700, $800, I would still pay. I would still pay because the concepts were different, right? It was able. I knew that down the road it would help change my channel, so it was worth paying $800 a month, even though it wasn't making money. It was worth paying $700 a month. It was worth paying it, you know. So what I'll tell you that, and you know, a lot of brothers got to understand is you need to do that to develop your own systems. You know, systems are everything. If you don't have the talent, if you don't have the network, you can't have a system. How? You don't have anybody that depends on you to believe in the system and make it work. So a lot of people have talent but can't even develop your own systems because you on bullshit. I'm gonna say this and get a mic up. There's a dude, I won't mention his name, right? One of the top artists here in Uganda, right? Somebody brought it because, you know, a top artist in the United States, you just can't get somebody to meet him, right? But in Africa, you can be a top artist and be walking the street broke in Uganda, right? Like literally. That's how small the market is. So somebody brought this guy to my house. You know, guy has music videos of millions of views, 200,000, 300,000 views, right? But this dude has no concept of business, don't have no system, don't have no team. And he goes around asking people for money to do his next concert, like shit like this. And the reason why he's like that is probably because he didn't fuck so many people over before nobody want to fuck with him. So guys, take that into consideration. You can't have a system that can produce things that earn money or things that put out productivity if people don't think they're going to get paid, right? Go ahead. You guys want to weigh in on that?
No, and I got and this is more. I don't want to take us off topic, but because I've dealt with brothers from the continent in Ghana and in South Africa, and I've had very similar experiences. And I won't get into the details, and I don't want to taint nobody's picture of Africa. But do you think? But I'll be fair. I've also had brothers that have taught me to be good business leaders. So I want to be fair. Do you think that way of doing business is one of the key factors that hold Africa back from being a global leader when it comes to cultivating what they have on the ground there?
It is the factor. Like, think about what's going on in Africa right now. I mean, think about what's going on in Africa right now. The EFTA, which was the African Free Trade Agreement. Shout out to Amon Ra. I don't know if you guys remember him. He ended up passing about 2.5 months ago. Amon Ra was a guy that was living in Kenya. I never got a chance to meet him, although we did several shows. And he was always talking about how African Free Trade Agreement was going to work, right? Africa is so bad at business, and I'm not saying, because Africa is 54 countries, but we're just saying as a continent, they are not even trading with one another. So think about this. 15% of all things created in Africa are traded within Africa. So you might have something like Ghana may have a product that they can trade for in Togo, and they won't. They'll go trade for it in Berlin or Germany or whatever, right? Now, If you look at the European Union, 68 or 69% of things that are created and made, and obviously, like Germany is a huge manufacturing hub. Poland is pretty good at manufacturing. The UK is somewhat decent. They have some good operational shit in the EU. 70% of things created in the European Union, work. They don't have no boundaries or no borders. Africa can't even do business with each other. Okay? So if you can't do business with number one, the people in each country can't do business with themselves, right? And then that spills out until we can't even trade with each other. This is why Africa looks like it. Like most countries in Africa look like what they look like. You can't keep your money in the continent to even build roads and do stuff. That's why the African Union is so weak. And the European Union is so strong. So if you can't do business, black people just have problems doing business in general. But Africa is the worst.
Wow.
And I wouldn't even say it's worse than us, which is bad. If you're worse than us, that's bad.
Because I had a good friend of mine when I was trying to do business in Ghana. He said you got to have a line item for the project. You're going to have a line item for the official, and then you're going to have a line item for the guy between the project and the official. So, so this idea of all these weird middlemen people that you have to work with to get things done. Is that true for what you're dealing with in Uganda, or is that just something that I experienced? It was crazy.
If you want to get into the market, any kind of market, you're gonna have to go through that. There's no way. There's no way of getting around it. You got to pay to play. So anywhere, typically in the black community, you got to pay to play. But for real here, you're gonna have to do that. No doubt about it. That's just how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, because you got to do it. Yeah. I think that I see aspects of that in our community that we have such weird business relationships in the community because I think David Carroll, that's the guy with the ticket sounds in the background.
Yeah. That's him.
So he mentioned about I guess he gave me a story about making ice water or something. Well, a man would question everything you did to make this thing, then go across the street and go get it from the other guy.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Oh man, that's rough.
You want to weigh in on that, brother Hassani?
I don't have much experience with Africa, but I will say that I just got put on the David Carroll. That's the dude right there. So
yeah, he's interesting.
The way he breaks down things is very pragmatic, but very, very interesting. I just he has this thing called the rabbit hole that I haven't experienced yet. So I'll be
boy.
brother, that is the Sunday sermon. You need to be religious on that thing when you watch it. That is so. you come with it in the rabbit hole. You come with it.
I've never been a part of it, but what I will say before we segue to the Africa piece, when my wife and I were doing speaking engagements, and we had a incident in particular where we basically were on the same on a tip with talent, where a black couple brought us in to speak at their couples event, and they paid us up front. No, they paid us half up front, and then the husband came over and was like, "Can we pay y'all the rest?" At the end of the night. Sounded shysty, but we were like, you know what? We're already here. We already set up. Why not? And we end up, chasing them for a few months for the rest of that money, and they gave every excuse, trying to block us on social media, and so we were like, bump this. We're gonna just stick to colleges and universities, unfortunately. And with that type of relationship, like people got to understand that when people are providing a service to you, you're representing your folks. And every time that you undercut somebody in order for you to save a couple dollars, you're taking away, talent you're taking away talent from the community. And I know a lot of speakers, I know a lot of coaches, I know a lot of people in those professional fields where they stick to, government grants, that kind of thing to go speak because they can't rely on their own people, for their own services. And so, long story short, again, just when people have a talent and you want to use their talent to get your platform or whatever that you're working on better, just make sure you treat them well, because you're representing the rest of us when you do it.
Right. Go ahead, Brother Maurice, and I'm gonna go ahead on it. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, player.
Oh yeah, we got let's get you out of here.
Yeah.
But no, to I think to wrap it up, I think this is the place where we kind of redefine what business relationships are. I think we are the group. We need to lay the foundation. We need to lay the foundations for better relationships. I don't think that, and I say that because I think what happens is a lot of people kind of go in with the expectation and they get their hearts broken when it's not met. But, going back to our trauma as a group of people, I kind of keep that in mind. And I'm a little bit more flexible and understanding when it comes to us. But at the same time, I vet more. I take time to vet people, and I treat business with Black folk like marriage and courting. I pay a lot more attention to what you do and what you do and how you do things moving forward and working with you than others, and so I don't set myself up for failure. So maybe, I guess, be a little patient and work with those, vet better, and work with those that you can develop long-term relationships with. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah, let me just say, guys, it was a great show. Was going to try to do the Sunday room, man, but I'm just tired. I had a guy was working on my machine all day, so it's 4 now. So, but I will say that it's a lot of opportunity with working with African American men. It's the best. Number one, it's great, right? It's fun. Working with Black men is fun. It's challenging, right? It has challenging aspects, but it's fun. Number 2, the best economy and the safest economy that you're going to be able to be in the next 10 years, if you're an African American, is that which is working with Black men. Because I can tell you right now, there is no economy. So if you are working on that platform and linking brothers up, you talk about like whatever you're doing, adding into this community is something that's going to it can help you be surviving, right? I talk about right now, Bernard Riley is a guy that 7-8 months ago, I had no idea who this guy was. Every morning he's doing a live stream. That live stream is bringing in a few dollars, and it's just for the fact that he just happens to be one of the guys, right, in the community that wants to do that show, and brother support him. And now he has found him a new income, right, for just doing that a few hours a day, part time. See, things like that is black men helping each other. As black men help each other get off, into a new market. So you can only do those type of things here. And we got to start bringing black men into things like that. We have all the opportunities. Like this is the most, this is the best time for black men in the world to do anything together right now. Like, the money's there, the connections are there. All the industries, we're all in them. We all know something about them. We don't need to cater anything to any other group of men. We don't got to create our stuff for black women. You're in the best time right now in the world to want to be actually, you know what? I want to actually work with other brothers that are like me. And you can benefit off of that by bringing your knowledge and your expertise and your network and your right attitude. We're in the best time in the world to do that right now. And we shouldn't let this opportunity get away from us, especially with what's going on with coronavirus and the pandemic. So, we need to develop and maintain these relationships. We need to go ahead and look for talent. We need to go ahead and hone the talent. We need to develop talent. And then we need to recognize people that already have talent from other different genres or niches and work with them as we develop our own wheelhouse, right? Because I'm telling you right now, once you develop your own wheelhouse, all you are doing is bringing more to the table to get a better deal. All right. Like, even with me and the money that I've put into, some of the equipment or some of the time trying to learn some of the things, if I want to go to somebody else, I'm coming automatically with a better deal. We can produce this. I can produce that. I can do this. I can do that for you in exchange for this. So long as you get your own wheelhouse together, you are bringing something to the table, and you can maximize that as you cross-pollinate. So any last word, guys?
No, man. I'll let you go first, Ollie.
Hey, all I was gonna say is, if you find somebody with talent, you treat them right. You go the extra mile, because that talent could be the driving factor for you to take your business to the next level. I'll leave it at that.
We don't do this enough, and I think we do need to do it often. Like, I would like to thank O'Shea and the founding fathers of the manosphere. Bruh, you created a space for men like us to all meet and cultivate and network in. And I got to tell you one thing, man. I don't know how you did it, but it's that talent you got to bring men together from different walks of life is not only appreciated, but respected and honored. So I really appreciate you for sharing that with us. I really do.
Oh no, man! Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It's just fun, man, and thank you guys for bringing your skill sets. And again, thank you, brother Earl. We're gonna continue to working with niggas is hard, but it's fun, right? It is fun. It's niggas are funny. Niggas are full of shit. And I know how to deal with you niggas, so I'm not. You niggas don't scare me. So I'm not where I've been living around y'all all my life. That's why when I come to Africa, I tell every black person here, I say, I've seen you one day. I've seen you already before. So you got a different accent, nigga. You can't pull that shit on me. I've seen all of you niggas before. Okay, ain't none of you niggas do. I know you before I got here. So yeah.
Say your troll skills in your Facebook group is wonderful, dog.
Yeah. They be mad.
Rolling. I'm talking about rolling.
Yeah. It's just all about trying to get a space for black men to have fun and be entertained. That's important for me. Brothers need entertainment, especially in a time like this, and things to look forward to. So, it's just trying to provide that. So, guys, we'll try to be back tomorrow a little bit earlier. Again, I apologize to Gabe. Guys, don't forget to go check out Brother Ali's Corner, Coach Ali's Corner. Let me put the channel here because the brother is putting up some good stuff. Coach Ali, go ahead and talk to him about the channel, brother.
So you said something earlier today, and it's funny how great minds think alike. And as you were talking about, we're not going to say no names here, but brothers starting to steal content, brothers starting to run out of content. And right now, when it comes to the dating and relationship piece and just about manhood in general, it's time for a different conversation. It's time for us to start putting together the professional minds, the marriage minded minds to say, hey, we know how to be professionals in the business world. We know how to be, married men where we're not, slaves in our own house. We know how to be fathers, and we know how to be, the leaders in our community. So we need to start gearing the conversation to professional brothers and let us have the floor so we can, have more solution oriented conversations rather than, what female nature is and why it's not working for us and what we're doing and not doing. So we're gonna change the gears here a little bit.
All right. Anything else, brother Marius?
No, man. I think I think we are evolving into creating additional lanes to talk about. I think the dealing with the relationship conversation is going to have more context as we become business owners and leaders in the community, and as we move toward either bachelorhood or marriage or some hybrid of the two. But I think it's going to be more of these type of conversations, more Hall of Games, more intricate details about ownership, and then ideally international travel and cultivating with other brothers from other continents. I think that's where we're heading in the next 5 years.
Yeah. That'd be great. And guys, again, I thank all of you for supporting. And supporting is not always oh man, I dropped you $2 or whatever. It's just being here, telling people about the content, making the space better. As hard as it is for me, I'll tell you like this: it's hard for me to do these shows because my body is adjusted to the time zone, right? So I have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning or try to stay up to do this. So I have to be dedicated to do this show, and it's hard and difficult for me to do it. But I try to do it as often as I can. So we would like brothers to tell people about it, because I'm like dead tired. Like it's, when the show starts, I want to be asleep. Like imagine you be tired and stuff. You got to get up at 2 a.m. or 1:30 to come back and do a show for 2 hours and then go back to bed or whatever and be back up. So it's hard on me. And I mean, like, shit, I'm almost 40 now, so it ain't like I'm a young nigga. You know what I mean? Like I was like the youngest guy in the world. It'd be hard. I'm ready to just, but I do it as much as I can, at least 2-3 times a week, so that we can do this show, because sometimes guys can't go to 8:30. Like Brother Gabe, I can't go to 8:30 tonight. Okay, so you can't go to 8:30 tonight. That's 3:30 my time. So and everybody else in the house is asleep. Everybody in Uganda is asleep at the time, and I'm hosting the show. So we'll try to do more of these, brothers. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.
Peace.